Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest is a podcast pioneer who launched Satellite Sisters before anyone else had a podcast. She has since gone on to become a best-selling author and is here to share her latest novel. We welcome back the author of The Marriage Sabbatical, Lian Dolan. Good to see you.
I'm so happy to be back, Helen, in Portland and on your show.
You used to live here, right?
I did. In my 20s, I lived in Northwest Portland. I worked out at Nike. Portland was so full of possibilities, and I have such nostalgia for that time in my life. So I love being back.
So tell me about The Marriage Sabbatical. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And it takes place essentially, for the most part, in Portland. The couple live in Portland.
Right.
And you pick their names, Jason and Nicole.
Right. This is a typical Gen X couple that have been married for 23 years. They've been in Portland that whole time. They've worked in businesses in Portland, and they decide after 23 years they just kind of need a personal break and to break from their marriage.
Yeah.
And so they go on separate sabbaticals. So we see a lot of their marriage from the beginning, and then she goes to Santa Fe to learn jewelry making, and he goes to Patagonia to take a motorcycle trip that she doesn't want to take.
Well, and she's the one that brings up the whole sabbatical idea to him, and he's just blown away by this concept.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they were supposed to go to Patagonia together.
Right.
And at the last minute, she's like,
and that wasn't her. That wasn't her idea.
It wasn't her dream.
Yeah, that was not what she wanted to do.
You know, and they're coming out of the pandemic. They've been married for so long. All of a sudden, like, you go through grief and the empty nest. The kids came back. They're just sort of done for a little bit, and they need to explore who they were before they said I do. But yes, there are some implications, like they decide to take a break from their marriage vows as well.
Yes.
Because it's fiction.
Yes.
Helen, I can write that. It's not a memoir. It's not a how-to.
Here's the thing. I'm sure everybody, and at your book events, they're going to be asking you, what inspired this? What inspired this, The Marriage Sabbatical?
You know, marriage is such a complicated relationship, and honestly,
isn't it though?
You're really stuck with that person. Like for years, I mean, I've been married 31 years, and I think
right there with you.
Routinely, like, boy, I'm glad I like this person,
Yeah.
or else this would be exhausting.
Right.
And I just thought it's really hard. It's really fun and easy to write about a bad marriage, but it's much harder to write about what is essentially a good marriage that just goes through some bumps. Because a bad marriage, it's conflict, it's yelling, it's divorce. And I know that sounds terrible if you're going through it, but for a fiction writer, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote a book where the philandering husband got run over by a Rose Parade float. I mean, you know, fabulous. Fabulous.
Now that's the way to go. Okay.
Yeah. But I really wanted to write about what was essentially a good marriage that just goes through some bumps.
Yeah.
And so, but then it's fiction, so you have to make it a little fun, a little sexy,
Right.
and that's what I tried to do.
You dedicate the book to your husband.
Yeah, I mean, I love him, you know.
You had to make sure he was okay. Make sure everybody thinks it's not him.
It's not
about
him. It's really not him. He's not the main character, and it's not him. But I do think after decades of marriage, you build what I call emotional equity.
Right.
You know, the people that you're not the person you were when you were in your 20s and got married, and neither is your spouse. And you sort of build this understanding we're not perfect people. You know, this is a relationship that's going to grow in different ways, and you hope you grow together. And, you know, you say those vows for better, for worse, but you know, when you're in your 20s, you think, well, it's going to be 98% for better and just 2% for worse, and that'll be at the end.
Right.
And then you go through, you're like, oh my God, the for worse comes at you. There's unemployment, there's long-term illness, there's, you know, there's outside forces like a global pandemic. You're like, oh, this is a lot more complicated than I thought. So I wanted to capture that.
Now, so in real life, though, your husband's name is?
Barrick.
Barrick.
Yeah.
Didn't want to say Derek, but it's Barrick. And you guys, you got married where?
We got married in Pasadena, but we got engaged here in Portland.
Look how cute. Look how cute.
I mean, right?
Gorgeous.
That's
gorgeous.
it. That's the picture. I don't need another picture of me ever, Ellen. But our wedding was predicted by a tarot card reader.
No.
When I was living here in Portland and working for Nike.
Of course.
We had to go to Seattle to do post-production because Portland didn't have any facilities at the time.
Wow.
So I went to a tarot card reader there, Alexa Robbins, and she said, I don't normally say this, but you're going to be married within a year. to someone you had a problem with in the past, but I want you to give him another chance.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, oh, is it that guy who broke my heart in college, the one with the family money? Is it him? It wasn't him.
No,
It wasn't him,
him.
Helen.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks later, I met Barrick at a wedding, and he lived in Los Angeles, and I lived here, and we spent 19 days together, and we got engaged in 3 months and married within 10 months.
No
Yes.
way.
So I
Wow.
totally could have gone south and wrong with this marriage. Like, I barely knew the guy. So
Right? You followed what a tarot card reader said. Oh, that's funny.
I did.
In the book, you talk about a poodle, right? You talk about but in real life, you have only had German Shepherds,
yes,
right?
yes. I have.
Look at the
there's my
baby.
girl,
Yeah.
Steffi, Silky Steffi von Graf. That's her. That's her German Shepherd name. She's a rescue, and you know, I'm super allergic to a lot of breeds of dogs. So I found out weirdly I'm not allergic to German Shepherds. Oh,
that's funny.
But
okay.
but German Shepherds are giant dogs. So
Yeah, they're
I
big.
aspire to small. I look at small dogs. I'm like, oh, I wish I could have a small dog. So the poodle in the book is a tribute to the dog I wish I could own. But they make me sneeze.
Yeah.
And I know they're supposed to be hyperallergenic. But I spent or wasted so much time following toy poodle accounts on Instagram.
Oh, that's funny.
That's the research, Helen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm digging deep for people.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I do doodle accounts.
Okay.
I follow doodles.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me. And I also follow German Shepherd accounts, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Do you have a shepherd?
I have a shepherd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So you know.
Yes,
You
I
know
do
the
know.
yeah.
What's been the reaction so far for your book?
100% people say, I'd like to take a sabbatical. Maybe not with the rules part, but and then the other thing is people want to go to Santa Fe. Because they read about Santa Fe in the book, and I do think Santa Fe is a special place. And it's a place for seekers and people reinventing themselves with great shopping.
Right.
And so those are the two reactions.
It's also an artist mecca too,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful art galleries and all kinds of different artisans there. And so it's a special place. And it feels a little bit in the same sense like New Orleans feels sort of like another country when you go there. Santa Fe has that same thing because of all the cultures.
Do you think too that the characters in so Nicole says to Jason she wants to take a silversmithing class and go to Santa Fe, and he's completely like blindsided by that, like didn't really know you, like this is who you were, finally telling him this is what I want to do. Yeah. And he hadn't listened for a while.
Yeah. You know, I spent a long time setting up the characters because I wanted you to buy into this idea that they had a good marriage, but that the push and pull of life had sort of gotten them off track a bit. So I don't know if Jason didn't listen or he just had so much else going on. Like he ran a big business, he traveled a lot for work, like he had just made it through the pandemic, the loss of a dear friend, like those are all disorienting things.
Yeah,
and
big
same
events.
with Helen, you know, she lost her job in the pandemic, or not Helen.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
That was my first book, Helen Pasadena. But Nicole, same with Nicole, like she knew she should have told him, but they were not connecting as they should have been.
Yeah,
for sure.
I wanted to quickly mention those Satellite Sisters. You had your final podcast.
We did.
Which is huge.
Yeah, in December 23, we finished up 23 years of connecting on the air, first on radio here and then in podcasting since 2009. I mean, we have 1,000 shows up on Apple Podcasts, so the show is still there.
You
but
can listen.
We felt like it was time. We had a fantastic run. We love our community. We're still online, but
That's great.
It was a very, very special experience.
You've got a book event. It is tonight at 7 o'clock at Powell's Books at Cedar Hills Crossing in Beaverton. But you also have an event at a library, too.
Tomorrow morning, I'll be at the Wilsonville Public Library at 10:30 in the morning.
Okay, great. So we're going to put both of those on our website at k2.com. The book, again, is called The Marriage Sabbatical. Lian, Dolan, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.